Good evening and welcome to the last parent chat of the summer. Hard to believe that the start of the school year is just around the corner here. And we really look forward to welcoming your students to campus here in short order. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Chad Eichhoff. I serve as Chief Enrollment Strategist here at NAU. I've been here on campus for 14 years in a variety of different roles. Absolutely love Flagstaff and NAU and the work that we do, helping students transition here to campus. And I'm joined by Danny. I'll let Danny introduce herself.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Nice to be in this space again with you all. My name is Danny Donaldson. I'm Director of Admissions here at NAU and excited to be in a space where we can answer some of those questions that you and your students might be having as you prepare for your time here on campus. So certainly excited for you to be considering our university and, having made that decision, getting ready to attend as a community member, third generation Flagstaff local, and a two-time NAU alumna. I'm always happy to answer whatever questions you and your students might have that will just help that transition feel a little bit more smoothly next week. So, thanks in advance for the questions that we did receive through the survey that went out. And Chad, I think let's just jump right in. The first thing that stood out were really questions about transportation, specifically about electric scooters, and then parking permits. So could you tell us a little bit more about what that looks like?
Yes. So the question that we've been getting all summer, when can I get my parking permit? The answer is now. August 1st, that opened up and they are available on the parking website or transit services website, nau.edu/parking. Would be the web page. I can pull that up here too and share screen. Would be the location that students could go. Cars definitely are more of a luxury than a necessity. So your student certainly doesn't need a car, not something that they have to have. And actually the first thing you see on the website is some encouragement about not bringing a car to campus and the need for that. Very bicycle friendly campus as well. And we had questions about scooters that came in, as Danny mentioned. And a lot of this bike information also applies to scooters. So would encourage you and your students to check that out. You are able to register your bike so that if it were to be lost or stolen, that they would be able to identify it and bring it back to your student. And the same holds true of scooters as well as it does of bikes. So would encourage that. There were some questions around motorized skateboards, and yes, motorized skateboards are allowed on campus, and I definitely see those zipping around in addition to those motorized scooters that many people have now to get around campus. But all of those, if you're thinking, hey, I didn't get my student one of those yet, are they going to be able to get around? Yes, not something that you need to get around. Campus is very walkable, and we do have the shuttle system continually running and doing loops of campus where students can hop on and go from one end of campus to the other really quickly. So not a necessity to have those types of on-campus transportation either, but for students that are considering bringing those, wanted to make sure to give you that information there. Within this bike information page too, there is information about bike lockers that students can rent. Some students with the beautiful outdoors we have here might have an expensive mountain bike, for instance, that they want to bring to campus and want to have that stored in a more secured in place that's safe from the weather, I guess, and elements too. I would encourage them to look into the bike lockers within the bike information piece there. Danny, did I cover all the questions on transportation front?
Yeah, I think parking permits generally, and again, it's up and open. Your students can go through and purchase. And then, with electric scooters, really making sure that you're observing those rules of the road as outlined for bikers. So just being safe while you are on campus as well. Some good information there regarding our university transit services. We're also receiving a number of questions around the move-in process. What does life on campus look like? I know one of the questions that came in right away was, is there Wi-Fi in the community living spaces? The answer is yes. Yeah, there is Wi-Fi across our campus community, and your student will use their LUI login information to access that Wi-Fi network. And if you are still having questions about what the move-in process looks like, certainly want to point you to our community living website where they've kind of got those dates outlined. Now you should have received your information specific to your move-in day and time. That would have been sent to your NAU email. But generally, we're looking to welcome back all of our students beginning on Thursday, the 25th. So just a reminder there to check in with your NAU email for those important updates. I think something else that is really helpful and on that page is that what to bring list. So we help students identify, is this something that you absolutely need to bring into the residence halls? And we did receive a very specific question regarding the furniture in the residence halls as well. And so one thing to keep in mind is that any furniture that is provided to your student in their room space, it's going to be important for them to keep that furniture in the space. So if they are thinking about bringing additional, I know one of the things I thought of was having like some plastic dressers and organizers. Those things are allowed, but certainly want to make the use of the furniture that is provided. There was a question about, an ergonomic chair, if that's better suited for your student, fantastic, bring it. But again, knowing that the furniture that the room comes with needs to stay in the room is just something to keep in mind. All of the beds in the residence halls are adjustable. And so you'll see various setups. If you look at the various living spaces on campus, you can search by residence hall to see what comes in, specifically what comes in each residence hall room. And so you can bunk or lift the twin beds that are there in those spaces. That was something that came in as a very specific question as well. So lots of really good information just about what your students can experience in their campus living community, but also those move-in details that are outlined on that website. Would encourage folks also to think about, when you're getting packages sent to your hall space. Many of the halls on campus do have let's kind of backtrack here. If you are sending your student packages, maybe like a welcome package, or maybe they're ordering some things on Amazon, those things will be delivered directly to their designated hall space. But they do also have email, or rather postal service boxes that they are assigned based off of that campus living community hall. So that information should be populated in your student's LUI account with their new address as to where things can be shipped. And then places that are using either FedEx or UPS, those will be delivered directly to the community living space where they are residing. And typically it's the front desk staff who's sending them an email notification, hey, you've got a package here at the front desk.
And one other note on the packages, I know they would encourage you not to send packages until after your student has moved in. Otherwise, if everyone was trying to send all their packages there and have things there for move-in, that'd be a lot of packages there. So the encouragement is to wait to send packages to your student until after they have moved in, and then they would be accepting those packages and notifying your student as Danny laid out there. For folks maybe coming a long distance, I know our students from Hawaii, obviously flying and not driving to get here, utilizing, there's a Target right next to campus, Walmart, other businesses around town, where students sometimes will order for pickup. If they want to place an order for in-store pickup, could be a good option. If you were kind of thinking, hey, I want to order stuff, I want to have it here when I get to Flagstaff. That would be an alternative to sending it directly to the hall that I would encourage students and families to consider for that.
Perfect. And I know that we've talked both in the parent chat space, but also in the forecast space about important dates. So encourage you all to familiarize yourself with some of those important dates for, upcoming breaks around the Thanksgiving holiday, finals week, to make those plans for getting back home for the winter break. So that registrar's website can be really helpful as you're planning for the upcoming academic year. So thinking about important dates, I know that we've also got questions that are coming in regarding the costs. You might have received an invoice over the summer, and maybe that looks a little bit different from what you are seeing currently reflected in your student's Louis account. And so just wanted to reiterate that the statement that was sent out over the summer was a statement that was point in time. So if your student has added any courses, maybe you went back and adjusted your meal plan for the upcoming year, Louis is what is current and what is accurate. So encourage you to jump into your Louis account, make sure that things look as they should. Certainly, if you have questions, maybe you submitted your FAFSA and you're not seeing that information in your student's account quite yet, would encourage you to reach out to our Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid. They can really assist students, especially with that FAFSA submission. But then also knowing that disbursement is going to take place this weekend. So starting Saturday, financial aid will be awarded on the back end. So we'll do some processes on our end, and your financial aid will be applied to your student's account. And that change should reflect as of Monday, the 22nd. So your account will look a little bit different if you're looking at it this week, and then checking in again next week as it should. But certainly if you have questions about how the disbursement was applied, the various fees that are associated on your student's account, our staff members in the service team are always happy to talk students through their accounts. And so one other push that I have there is just making sure that you are completing your FERPA so that you have access, parents have access to knowing what's going on with student accounts, especially making sure that you're jumping on and completing that will be really important. And I know we've got some team members who are working in the chat as well. So hopefully they can drop in a link as to where you can go to complete. Now, if you're noticing that, hey, we have this financial aid and it's been on our account, but for some reason on Monday I'm looking and nothing was dispersed. One thing, again, a good habit to just get into is checking that Louis account. If you have any holds on your account, that could be a reason why your financial aid disbursement didn't take place. So as you're looking at your Louis account this week, be really mindful to watch for maybe immunization record holds, especially. We want to make sure that we're getting those cleared up before disbursement so that there are no impacts to your student's account. Chad, anything else that you'd bring up in this space?
I don't think so. Just keeping an eye on the chat. There were some questions about the fees that folks have seen, and I know Tyler and Lexi are helping us in the chat now. They just dropped a great link in there, and I'll share screen just with the page that they just dropped in there. That really gives kind of a breakdown of the different fees that are there. If you've got questions about why they're there, what they do, and you'll see that most of these were student voted on, student approved fees that exist to cover various things on campus. So here's just kind of a good breakdown to understand what's happening because of those fees that your students paying and how it's beneficial to them. So would point them there. There were some other questions kind of on the transportation front as well around the usage of Uber or Lyft. Those are certainly available here in Flagstaff to get around, but also lots of options with public bus that comes right through the middle of campus. Route 10, which goes to downtown, and then a lot of off-campus shopping areas as well, is free for students to jump on campus. So that's a good option to get around. But certainly there are Uber and Lyft operating and other private shuttle companies that operate from the NAU Flagstaff campus down to the Phoenix Airport, for instance, that students can utilize to get around.
Perfect.
And
And
let's see.
since you're unmuted, Chad,
What's
I
that?
know that we did have a question come in regarding when do students get their meal card for campus meal plans? And so I know we've talked a bit about how the JAX ID card is really kind of like your all access pass to various campus activities, your community living space. So what updates do we have to share about JAX card IDs?
Yes, let me share screen here. And I've shared this website a few times this summer, nau.edu/jaxcard. And with the website actually looks refreshed and different than last time I showed it. And one of those reasons is there's an exciting update, which I alluded to earlier in the summer, but now is official and out there. But students now have the option to use Android devices for digital credentials. There's an email that just went out within the last week or so announcing that. So really students have three options to choose from. They can do the traditional physical JAX card, which I have right now with me. I'm still old school with that physical JAX card, or they can choose Android or Apple devices. In all kinds of details about that on this website. Here, it is a choice of one or the other. You can't have multiple, and really that is a security thing. We don't want students having a physical card floating around that they're not really keeping track of while they're just using their digital credential. So they do have to make a choice as to if they choose the digital route, that is the choice that they're making there. And now in terms of getting those physical cards, on the west lawn of the student union, so the west of kind of the main student union in the middle of campus, they're going to have a tent set up during move-in time where students and families can stop by there and students can pick up a physical card. They also will have folks there helping set up digital credentials. If your student chooses to go the Android route or the Apple device route, they will be able to assist your student with that. But with how tech savvy this generation is, I think a lot of students will be able to set that up ahead of time before coming to campus if they choose to go the digital credential route. So that's something they could start doing now.
Yeah, and I see Alex just asked a question in the chat. So, okay, I've got it in my Apple Wallet. So how does it work? And yeah, you put your cell phone right up to the card scanner, or in this case, the phone scanner. And that's what you're going to be utilizing as you're getting in and out of your community living spaces, meal plans, and things like that. So really excited for this jump in tech for our students. Cool. Thanks, chat, for that. Super helpful. And then I know that students are probably getting their schedules right now. Lots of questions, a few questions that came in just around, meeting with advisors. And I know that this has been a talking point for this summer. So really encourage your student to jump in to either a Zoom drop-in session, or I know advisors have been increasing their office hours and increasing appointments just to make sure that your students are feeling good about their fall schedule. And so you can access all of that information on our Student Gateway Student Success website. So the information, thanks Chad, for drop-in advising is there. It looks like Tuesdays and Thursdays, after hours as well, for folks who might not be able to make it during that 8 to 5. But yeah, those Zoom drop-in hours can be really helpful. And so just as a heads up, if you do decide to do the drop-in hours, just anticipate a little bit of time. We really try to serve one student at a time in those Zoom drop-in hours. So you might experience a little bit of wait until you're let in from the waiting room there. But still opportunities for you to connect with your academic advisor as you're planning for fall. So yeah. Chad, anything else that you are seeing come in on the live chat?
Yeah, I had some dining questions come in around kind of popular meal plans, and I can't say there's a one size fits all, depends on your student. But I will say your student does have the first couple weeks of the start of the term to make adjustments to the meal plan. So if they show up and they got 10 meals a week plan and they decide, oh, 14 is a better option for me, or 17 is a better option for me, your student can adjust that within the first couple of weeks of the term. So just want to make sure that you're aware of that. So maybe they start with that 14 meals a week, kind of middle of the road plan, and then adjust up or down. Might be an option for your student as they're coming here to campus. And let's see, just scrolling up through here. We've hit a lot of the main ones here. Any other ones from the pre-submitted, Danny?
From the pre-submitted, I think we kind of went through everything. I know that we're really excited to welcome you and your students to campus starting next week, and we'll have a number. I know I've signed up to do some assistance with move-in. So we'll have welcome jacks all around campus with blue bins ready to help load up things from your vehicle, get them into your students' room in the community living spaces.
That was perfect timing, Danny. Christine just said, will we be flying solo or do we have helpers? So yes, helpers.
We're on the same brainwave length here. So yes, yeah, we'll have plenty of helpers across the campus community. Really with your time, you're going to drive up to the campus living space. We'll help unload your car, put things into a blue bin, and the goal is to kind of fit as much as we can, help you make one trip from your vehicle into the room. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting time on campus, I think, and we're excited for folks to be here.
And I've got a couple other questions that popped in, and I'm going to pull up some websites here quick on that. They were asking about kind of like orientation activities before classes start. So I'm going to pull up a couple different websites here. First one being nau.edu/welcome. So if your student did not attend an in-person orientation this summer, just want to encourage you and make you aware of some virtual things that are available to students. So nau.edu/welcome is this page here. Clicking the freshman link here, and there is an online orientation, these modules that your student could click into and complete. Not too late to do so. Lots of great information in there. So would encourage any student that kind of wants a refresher, even if they attended an in-person, lots of great information and refresher there. You may have noticed that there was a parent version, family and guest version there as well, that you could go through. And then specifically, they were asking kind of about when students move in. nau.edu/welcome week took me to this website here. Lots of activities planned for students, and really trying to give opportunities for students to connect with other students here on campus. So lots of different opportunities to scroll through here. The letters, you may have seen that kind of famous photo of the NAU letters there. It looks like 9 to 11 a.m. On August 28th. But as I scroll through here, lots of different options. Out-of-state welcome event. So if your student's coming from out of state, to be able to connect with other out-of-state students, for instance. They're thinking about studying abroad. Community fair, that's a bunch of different kind of community organizations and businesses. Lots of things. Club fair, would really encourage students to show up to that and find from one of our hundreds of clubs that we have here on campus, find some opportunities to get involved there. I believe there's another career fair at some point too. I don't see that on this schedule here, but I believe there's another opportunity for your students that are interested in part-time jobs. And then another event I want to draw attention to for parents and families is Family Weekend, coming up October 7th through 9th. Research kind of shows that might be about the time where students start to feel a little bit homesick and are excited to see their families again. Not that they won't be excited to see you before that date, but something to put on your calendars. Not a lot of information on this website yet, but nau.edu/family weekend. So be saving those dates. And if that's the time that works for you as a family to come visit, there'll be activities that will be planned here on campus for families. So wanted to make sure to get that on your radar as well.
Yes, yeah, and I think you can purchase those football tickets now
Oh
also.
yes, for family
The
weekend. Yeah,
schedule
that
is
one typically
live.
sells out. So if
Yes,
going to the
yeah.
football game is important to you, make sure to buy those tickets.
Yes, and Chad, just to confirm, the part-time job fair is taking place on Friday, the 26th, from 11 to 2 in our MAC gym, so up on North Campus in the Health and Learning Center area. So if you are a student who's thinking about working part-time on campus, would 10 out of 10 recommend that you check that out while you are here on campus. So yeah, I've been kind of watching the chat. I see Tyler and Lexi are hard at work answering the questions in there. Let's take a look.
On the different types of insurances being taken by Campus Health Services, the folks that work over at Campus Health Services are certainly experts there and super helpful. So would encourage you to reach out to them directly and talk through if you've got concerns about if your plan would be accepted or not. And I believe they've got some good information on the website as well too of some of the more common plans out there. But if you've got something that's less common, certainly don't hesitate to reach out.
Perfect. All right. Chad, anything else you think for the good of the order while we're in this space?
I guess, yeah, every time we do these, I just compliment you as parents, family members, that you showing up to these is showing how much you care about your students, and just know that there's a whole army of people here on campus that care a lot about your students too, and are putting a lot of work to help with that transition, and excited for campus to come alive here soon.
Yeah, and that being said, if there are still things that you're feeling hesitant about, if there was a question that we didn't have time to get to this evening, certainly recommend that you reach out, whether that is working through any FAFSA questions that you might have with our Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid, our Student Service Center being able to answer any questions that you might have around disbursement or guidance in completing that FERPA form on the website, or maybe you just, I feel like we're always happy to help, as Chad has shared. So don't be afraid to reach out to get those questions answered, because you've made that commitment in sending your student to NAU, and we want to make sure that you feel really good about that decision. So I would encourage you to reach out to us if there are areas where we can assist.
All right, thanks so much. And don't say hi if you see us walking around campus while you're moving your students in. We've really enjoyed being able to connect with you all summer long. So take care.
We'll see
Go
you on
Jacks.
campus soon. Yeah.